Hey everyone, and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Cooking with Aimee, Tips with Talbot. Here we are. So we're making something warm, something delicious, something that can be easily reheated for you. I love it. Looks like a lot of things going on here, but this is a really fast, delicious meal that can be done in a half of an hour. As also a recipe that can be made additionally with a meat alternative or even a tofu. So if you are looking for something alternatively for meat, this is one of those really simple recipes that you can do. So it is an egg roll in a bowl. We're going to be preparing the egg rolls today, or the egg roll portion of it, here in our wok, just because I love the depth of the wok itself. It's beautiful. Oh. Great. Just spilled all of my pineapple juice, so we're going to make an addition to that. Amazing. And what I was about to say was, we're actually going to do a two-part recipe. Again, still done in a half of an hour. A lot faster if you don't spill your ingredients all over yourself or your counter. Try to save some time, or your phone. Fabulous. This is live, folks, you betcha. So the recipe calls for sweet and sour sauce. I hate packaged sweet and sour sauce. It actually makes me want to so we're going to be making our own sweet and sour sauce, and part of it now is all over the recipe. So how about that? So we're going to just wing it here, it's a really simple recipe that I use often. What I love about it, so I'm just trying to get the pineapple juice off my phone. What I love most about it is the fact that it stores in the fridge for up to 3 weeks. And it's hilarious because when I found it a couple years ago, you can actually add red dye to it and make it its own magical red sauce. We're not doing that here, never do. So you need a cup of pineapple juice, which I just threw all over my counter. So, and all I did was take a can of pineapples and I just drained it. So obviously we're gonna need to get some pineapple juice. So what we're gonna do here today is I'm just gonna take the pineapple, now that I have, like, it is all over the floor. It is gonna be great and sticky. So I'm just gonna take my manual food processor, a little bit of pineapple. I'm just gonna add a little bit of water just because I have taken all of the juice out and then thrown it all over my floor. So we're gonna start with a cup of pineapple juice. Now, normally, again, pineapple juice can be in any variation. You can buy the container of it that you might just drink, that's fine. Taking the can of tidbits, just taking the juice out. Or if you throw it all over your counter and your recipe and your phone, then you're just gonna wing it, and ours is gonna be a little chunkier, and that's okay, because that's life. And here we are. So I've got a cup of, you're all gonna pretend that this is pineapple juice, not chunky pineapple, but that's okay. So a cup of pineapple juice, and then I'm gonna start the stovetop. And oh boy, juice really goes a lot of places when you don't want it to. How about that, eh? I hope everyone else's Wednesday is fabulous. I try here on my lives to save time so that when we're doing these things together, I'm not wasting your time. And then I throw sticky pineapple juice everywhere. Okay, let's make sure that there. Okay, so we're gonna add a cup of pineapple juice into the pan, 3 tablespoons of ketchup. So I'm just gonna use my measure all cup, and I'm going to throw that in there. And so the reason we're starting with the sweet and sour sauce is that while it's doing its thing, we're then gonna start the egg roll in a bowl. on the stovetop. Again, those of you who just popped on, it's a great recipe. Really beautiful and easy to do a meat alternative. It's also really great as a reheat and great if you are working, possibly going back into the office to take out. This one is also a nice recipe that we have used for a potluck. The fact that it can go quite far is amazing. And you're going to top it on top tonight with rice or anything that you might want. So I am just sopping up my pineapple juice that I have thrown all over the counter instead of in the pan. I spilled it and it's all over everything. So, all right, let's go back to our recipe. So we've got the cup of pineapple juice. I need 3/4 of a cup of packed brown sugar, which I've already taken. So 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. What I love about my measuring cups too is it's kind of got the end there that I can just scoop right into the brown sugar container itself. Packed brown sugar, throw that in there. Love our little brown sugar keeper. So easy, handy. I need 1/3 of a cup of rice vinegar and apparently it's brand new, this one. So 1/3 of a cup of the rice vinegar, putting all of that in there. And I've got the ketchup in there. We need 2 tablespoons of tamari. Okay. And I'm just going to use the same measuring, the measure all cup. It's already dirty, might as well, right? And it can be used at both ends. So this end we used for the ketchup, so that our hands weren't sticky. And the other end, again, I just measure it out. The 2 tablespoons, and it's because it's got the little spout. We know the liquid, it goes in there. And again, making a really easy sweet and sour sauce. I'm not a huge fan of the store-bought version, so I like to make my own. And I'm just gonna give that a stir. Ours is gonna be a little chunkier now because I've got real pineapple in here that I chopped up, and that was because I accidentally spilled my pineapple juice. It's fine, it's all good. This recipe, like I said, can last into your fridge for up to 3 weeks. So incredibly easy and really resourceful. So I'm gonna give that a couple minutes doing its thing here on the stovetop. And then I'm going to add the cornstarch to it. That kind of just gives it that thickness. We're not even gonna need that much because again, we've got the pineapple in there, but that's all we need for our sauce. We're gonna bring it to a boil and then gonna add the cornstarch to it and then just let it cool. So while that's doing this thing, we're gonna start the actual cooking of the egg roll in a bowl. All right, I hope everyone else's Wednesday is fabulous. It is started a little cray-cray here, but that's okay. We're gonna start in the non-stick skillet, and again, I'm using my wok just because I love the big depth of it. This way I have all of the cabbage, the meat, everything that's going into it. I don't have to worry that it's a perfect size. You might see a little smoke now because, yeah, the juice is now on the element. Good times. Okay, so we're gonna add the scallions. Now, you're gonna pretend as well that these are scallions because my Value Mart down the street didn't have scallions. Why would it? Honest to God. So we're gonna use green onions, and that's fine, right? It's fine. Whatever you have in your fridge. I mean, we've all survived the last 2 years with COVID, and if we could not have pivoted with recipes and the fact that we didn't have everything in a recipe, and if we can't pivot now, good Lord. So we're just going along. Okay, So we are gonna add the scallions, the ginger, and we're gonna just let them cook for about 2 minutes. So I'm just gonna thinly slice. It says a bunch, so because scallions are a little different size, I'm gonna use about 4 of the onions. We're not using the whole onion itself. So I'm just gonna lightly cut the onions up. We're gonna just use the lighter color for now. Okay. We're gonna throw those in there with the ginger. So I'm just using one of my utility knives. Those of you who aren't familiar with our knives, they are lifetime guarantee. They make fabulous gifts. You're able to sharpen them yourself. They come in a set or not in a set. They are the handiest things, made in Germany, and therefore the blade goes all the way to the end, so you're getting an even cut. Okay, so I'm just gonna throw the scallions and or green onions in there, and then I'm gonna take my ginger, and we want a chopped ginger. I know I have, there it is. And I'm gonna take my food chopper, and I'm just chopping up, it's saying 2 tablespoons of chopped freshly ginger. And we're gonna throw that in right now with the onions, okay? We're gonna add a little bit of oil, so I need a tablespoon of oil. So this is the new oil and vinegar dispenser. You just squeeze to the line, and then it lets you know. So this is a really beautiful, it does teaspoons. So I'm just squeezing there. There we go. Excellent, easy peasy. So we've got the oil, the scallions, and the ginger in there. We're gonna add the garlic. Our sauce is starting to boil. I'm just gonna move you guys over a little bit so you can see more of the sauce and the pan. So the sauce is starting to thicken there. So now I'm going to add the cornstarch mixture. And that'll just thicken itself up. And then that is our homemade sweet and sour sauce. Again, if you've got sweet and sour sauce that you really like, store-bought, do it, absolutely. I just prefer to make my own. It stays fresh in the fridge for up to 3 weeks. Really easy to do. I'm gonna turn the heat down here. And then garlic, we want 3 cloves of garlic minced. So I am going to use my garlic press and put the garlic, the ginger, and the onions right inside the pan. Already smells amazing, I mean, right? Onions, garlic, and ginger. It smells like heaven already in here. I've turned the temp down just a hair. I hope everyone is having a fabulous Wednesday. And, oh, the chopper for ginger, good idea, yeah. It's just, Carol, the recipe called for mint. No, it didn't. It said, yeah, finely chopped. So to me, it just made sense. And we're actually going to use our chopper at the end as well, because this recipe calls for some cashews that we're going to throw in here. And I'm not even going to clean it, because the cashews, even though they get mixed up in the ginger, is going to be just as delicious and amazing. Just an FYI, this recipe called for 3 cloves of garlic, and as you all know how much I love garlic, therefore that means 6 cloves of garlic for me. And just getting that going. And 1 more clove. There we go. All right. So clove, ginger, onions, and now we're going to add the meat. So I'm going to turn that sauce right off. You can see there the thickness of the sauce. It's good to go. We're going to need it in the recipe here. So I'm just going to let it, I'm just shutting it off right completely because it's done its thing. Now again, for those of you who might have just popped on, normally it wouldn't be as chunky. You can see there the pineapples itself. You normally use pineapple juice. I spilled my juice all over the counter, all over the floor. Good times, but that's okay. All I did was I took my pineapple from the can, put it in the manual food processor, and we made our own juice, and that's okay too. The chunkier, it's all good, right? It's a great sauce. So this recipe calls for ground pork. I'm going to actually use half ground chicken and half ground pork. I normally use an extra lean, and that's what we're doing today. So we're just throwing it right into the pot right now. So half chicken, half pork, and I am going to now use, because I'm just trying to break that up, so I'm going to use my, I want to say manual food processor, it's not. It is not a food chopper, it is my mix and chop, good lord. So I'm just going to brown the meat, and again, if you have, this is a recipe that can easily be used as an alternative, meat alternative. So any of the Beyond Meat or tofu. Lauren uses tofu in her recipe for this. Totally enjoyable. Really easy to do. So we're just going to let the meat do its thing here. Now this is going to be the shape of the new tool. So this is the old version of the mix and chop, which isn't going anywhere. This is the new version, and you can see here the 3 holes. So when you're scooping it out, the grease can fall out. This one is being revamped. I did want to take it out because I personally wanted to try it. We can't sell it yet. We won't be selling the new version until August. There were some problems in the spring launch with some of the new tools and the quality not being there for Pampered Chef, and therefore we're not having it. But I did want to show you that you're going to have in the fall 2 opportunities to buy 2 different mix and chops, which is cool. Those of you who love the mix and chop, you're going to love this one just as much, especially with the ground beef, to be able to still has a little notch, which we all love, but to scoop it out and get the grease out, which is cool. Okay, so that's doing its thing there. And then we're going to get some, we're browning it, breaking it apart, and then we're going to add the coleslaw. Now, obviously you can make your own coleslaw, especially with the mandolin. You all know how much I love the Rapid Prep mandolin, how easy that sucker is to use, how great it is. I really love just to buy coleslaw. It's fast, it's easy. In the summertime when we can get them organically from the farmers, that's when I do use it. But this time of year, I'm out of it. I sometimes keep some in the freezer. I'm out. So I buy the broccoli slaw, and I use it for soups. I use it in the salads. I just open it and throw it into lettuce. I love this. And I thought this was a great way for us to be able to add an extra veggie into our meat as well, because it's got broccoli, it's got cabbage, and it's got carrots. And right now, while we're browning the meat, I am going to add some of our super veggies. So this is Pampered Chef's way of getting extra veggies into your diet. I'm not so worried about me. We're worried about Dave, who does not get enough veggies. So I am going to add a tablespoon right to our meat. We're not going to taste it. It might change the color depending on what you're cooking. But again, it's so simple to use. And it just gives a nice boost. And on the back of the packages here, alternatives, how much you could get to put in your drinks and smoothies, your pastas, rice, and oatmeals, your ground meat or your meat substitute, your doughs or your spreads and dippings, because it comes with a little spoon and you can just scoop in how much you want of that. So great way to get, if you've got picky eaters or you find that you're just not getting enough veggies in your diet, it's a great way to put it into sauces and things like this, that it's just giving you that extra little boost. So the meat is almost done. And let's get my spoon going there. It's broken up now. Just gonna finish that up. And tonight when I serve this with dinner, I am gonna serve it over rice, so I will cook my rice alternatively later. We've got the sauce that we could use. We're gonna use both in the recipe and on the side. All right, that is cooking. We're going to add the coleslaw soy sauce to the skillet, and that's gonna take another probably 5 to 7 minutes. So we need, now I am also going to use tahini instead of soy sauce, so it's either one. And I am needing 1/4 cup of the tahini. Okay. Just want to make sure that that's almost done there. You can smell burned pineapple here. It's not that bad of a smell, I guess. All right. So you can see there the color is kind of a little bit of an orangey color because of the super veg. And just an FYI, the super veg is mushroom, pumpkin, parsnip, broccoli, and cauliflower powders. So you're getting all those boosts of veggies. And again, trust me, once we add all the other things into here, you're not even going to be able to tell that we've added that extra boost to your meals. So this is any meal that you can add this to. If you've got littles that you're trying to get those extra veggies, or like I said, a husband who doesn't get enough of his. So there's the tahini. We've got the slaw, which we're gonna add all of that into. It's about 6.5 cups of the slaw. We're just gonna mix that in together. We're gonna let that get a little bit soft, about 4 or 5 minutes. And this is why I'm using my wok. You can see here that right now, before the slaw gets wilted down a little bit, that we need every ounce of this pan used for sure. Okay? So we're adding the slaw. We're gonna add some sesame oil and of the sweet and sour sauce. So sesame oil, I need a teaspoon of the sesame oil. And for the sweet and sour sauce, I need 3 tablespoons. Then we're gonna chop up some cashews and throw it in. Now the cashews, if you would like your cashews to stay crunchy crunch, my suggestion would be adding the cashews and the ends of the greens onto your dish as you're serving, or if you just want the little bit of flavor of the cashews, I'm actually gonna add some of my cashews now to the dish, and then I'm going to add some as we serve it. So while that's still going on, we're gonna add the sesame oil. So we need a teaspoon of that. There we go. And we need our cashews. And I've taken the cashews and I am just gonna put them here so you guys can see. Once again, I'm going to use my food chopper and just chop away. It doesn't have to be all the way chopped. You don't want crumbs. And also, like I said, I just chopped which is lovely. And I'm just gonna add a bit of the cashews to the dish now. And then I'm gonna add the soy sauce. Apparently I'm throwing stuff everywhere. You can see there the cabbage is cooking down nicely. And so we need 3 tablespoons. What did I do with my tablespoons? I forgot. All right, so we're gonna take 3 tablespoons of our homemade sweet and sour sauce. You can add more as well. It might be one that you want to add just a hair. I'm gonna actually add 1 more. I'm adding 4 tablespoons. Smells so good. I love this recipe. Over a bed of rice, a bed of noodles, or just in a bowl all on its own. You don't need anything even. And again, like I said, this is a really great recipe. If you do have plant-based in your diet, you would just sub out the meat. Lauren does it all the time. This is one of those really easy recipes. And especially for those uni students or people who are extremely busy, because it makes so much. It is a beautiful leftover dish that almost gets better with time. The longer it sits, the better it gets. Absolutely. And guys, that is all we need for today's recipe. We've got a 1-pot egg roll in a bowl recipe. We had some homemade sauce that we've added to the dish. We can top it on top of rice. We're gonna chop up the greens. We're gonna put some cashews on top of that, onto a bed of rice or a bed of noodles. It is what is for dinner on this Wednesday that started out a little crazy with some pineapple juice. But guys, it's what's for dinner on this Wednesday. I'm so glad that it came together so fast for you. I think once you guys try this recipe, you are going to love it as much as I do. I'm gonna pop this recipe over on the VIPeeps page. If you're not on the VIPeeps page, pop on over there. I love to share recipes. Tahini, oh, sorry. Carol, thank you for saying tamari and not tahini. Okay, because I'm now shooting a video later with tahini as well. So this is tamari, not tahini. Thank you. Well, thank you, Siri. Now Siri's piping in. Yes, not tahini, tamari. Thank you. Good Lord. That's my next recipe. Stay tuned for that one. I'll pop up that recipe later. Anyway, thank you all. I hope you have a great Wednesday. It smells amazing. I hope it's amazing for you as well. I will pop the recipe over on the VIPeeps page. It's delicious and easy to do, whether you're plant-based or not, whether you're a meat eater. It is absolutely incredible. Have a great day, and we'll see you all over on the VIPeeps page for the recipe.